The lesson of reflection and today is on the gifts of wisdom and understanding, counsel and strength, used by one person. Isaiah writes of the time to come, of a person yet to come. In the first reading he says, "A shoot shall sprout from the stump of Jesse, and from his roots a bud shall blossom. The Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, a spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of counsel and strength, a spirit of knowledge and of fear of the Lord. And his delight shall be the fear of the Lord. Not by appearance shall he judge, nor by hearsay shall he decide. He shall judge the poor with justice, and decide aright by the land's afflicted. He shall strike the ruthless with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he shall slay the wicked." The person described will be, by role and by right, a judge of men. Whether that person then turned out male or female mattered not to the Lord, for the male pronoun was the generic pronoun. And that person would be wise, learned, temperate, a person of fine moral character, and that there would never be any questions about him as the foundation, the root of the tree from which so much good later sprung. Isaiah was speaking of David. I am writing of a judge on the bench of the Rhode Island, sitting currently as a judge in the city of Providence, Judge Frank Caprio, has been on the bench for decades, having reached seniority and been allowed to choose his posting. He eschewed the load and the visibility of the criminal term. He'd been there, done that for over 20 years. And he thought seriously about the juvenile term, for he knew that he could affect many lives positively. But he'd done that for over a decade, and some of the younger judges needed to do that. So no, he chose to sit in the court where he would see the greatest number of people each day, and able to mete out the true justice to them. Traffic court. Traffic court, I can hear you scorn. What true justice is there in traffic court? At Caught in Providence, or on the TV show, Monday through Friday, 12 to 12:30, 12:30 to 1300, you can see. One recent episode, a man came on who was so beaten down by life, he appears before the judge. The appearance was only for 3 red light violations. They have camera tickets for red lights and for speeding in school zones. The man never looked up at the judge, but he can be clearly heard that saying, "The first light was when I was rushing my wife to the hospital. The red light was he wasn't supposed to turn on red after stopping. The second, he said, I was rushing back to the hospital as they said there was little time left for her. I'd left to go get her some flowers," he said. Everyone in the courtroom at this point is wiping tears from their faces as the man telling this story in a flat, monotone voice, looking at the floor, never looking up. The judge, too, is wiping his eyes, and a voice usually so playful breaks when asking, "And the third offense?" "The third offense came after I buried her the next week. 3 times in 10 days, just as you said. But I've no money, Your Honor. I gave her the best funeral I could afford, but it was still just a step above a pauper's funeral, because we were both on SSI. But I'll pay these tickets, if I can go on a payment plan. We always paid everything, me and my Margaret," he said. And upon saying his wife's name, the man started to silently weep. Judge Caprio said, "Sir, all of these tickets are dismissed, with the court's greatest sympathy. You owe this court and this city nothing, but we owe you. I can see that you are a veteran, and I know there are benefits for veterans and their spouses for funerals that my assistant here, you could see one of the court staffers coming into view, will assist you in getting everything arranged and, okay, she will contact all of the right people for you, work with you to get everything done so you don't have to do anything alone. Also, the judge continues, I regularly have people sending me checks and cash to be used to pay fines for the poor who appear before me, and as I see fit. Here is a $500 cash gift I have been sitting on, that an anonymous donor from the Midwest wished to be used for all at one time for, quote, such an extraordinary pain and suffering. I know she was thinking of you, sir, when she wrote. I am giving you this $500 from a female disabled person in the Midwest who wants to ease a few moments of your pain to give you the space to breathe again. Also, this is still the judge speaking, Margaret was my blessed mother's name too, and I can feel her smiling and nodding her head at what I'm going to do. The show will match that $500 gift from the anonymous donor for you to use on a better coffin or a better grave location or a memorial stone for your Margaret, whatever you want. Then you have $500 for future emergencies and $500 for us, plus the VA, the help the VA will give you, so Margaret is given her due. The man was looking at the judge. His face was white with pain and grief, but with the notice of the person to help, a faint spot of colour appeared. The gift, a wash of colour appeared in his cheeks, and by the time the judge finished speaking, the man's face shone, eyes still streaming, but he was alive again. Judge Caprio had thrown him a line of hope and pulled him back from the brink of death's dark despair. This show has many days like this, as well as a lot of joking and bad Italian from Judge Caprio, and Irish, the prosecuting a cop, jokes, all unoffensive. And the man, with the VA and donations, helped to get her reburied. A double plot was purchased so that he will be buried next to her, to his beloved wife. That was his biggest regret, that he had been buying half a plot, so he would not be with her, going on into eternity. Judge Caprio is a Christian man, using his wisdom, mercy, love of his neighbour, and his empathy for their plight while dealing with them. But for those people who want to try to use that Christian love to pull a fast one, he demands they fulfill all responsibilities and obligations, else he drops the hammer on them. He doesn't let anyone pull the wool over his eyes. He is a judge, and he knows exactly who is wicked and who isn't. Let us all hope such a person is judging us if we ever must go to court, or when we go up. Praise God for such people as Judge Caprio. Peace be with all of you.